G'day guys, welcome back to another video. We will be covering, this time, the supportive gem that is Citrine. But for now, I just wanted to thank you all for clicking into the video and let you know throughout this video we will be going over the basic acquisition and information you need of Citrine, as well as her abilities and my personal build that you will be seeing in the background of this video. So if you haven't already, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Be introduced to the game. She does yet to have a prime as the recording of this video, but she is one of the ones that I am personally hoping to get soon. But I also know that we will probably be getting 2 males next, as we just had 2 females, and it's usually followed the male, female pattern for which primes are coming next. She was introduced to the game during update 32.3 on the 15th of February 2023, alongside the mirror defense missions that you could acquire her from. And that mirror defense that you can acquire both her blueprints and components from was Tirana Pass on Mars, and only on rotation C, but it's pretty quick and easy farm. If you have not acquired her yet, I heavily suggest it, as she is a fairly easy to complete frame, and the only requirement to actually get to those missions is to have completed the Heart of Deimos quest, so that you can access the mirror defense on Tirana Pass. Now, Citrine comes with a base, once you reach level 30, of 500 health, 370 shields, 265 armor, 180 energy with a starting energy of 50, a sprint speed of 1, a progenitor of magnetic, and if you subsume her into the helmet, the ability you will acquire is Fractured Blast. Now next, I think we should be covering and going over her abilities and kit, starting with her passive, which for all allies within the affinity range, and for those who don't know, the affinity range is where you got to be to get XP from any one of your allies, and you can tell by the symbol up to the top next to your shields and health how many people are within that affinity range. With this passive, everyone within that range will gain 5 health per second health regen. That will increase by 0.1 every time you pick up a health orb, or someone within infinity range picks up a health orb, and that will cap out at 25 health per second. And this amount that you actually currently have will be displayed in that little diamond you can see above your ammo and your gun name. The top half of this is the health regen you are currently getting, and the second half will be covered in ability 2. But before we get into that ability, we need to cover Fractured Blast, her subsumed ability and first ability that you unlock. This pretty much throws a handful of sharp, shiny rocks at the enemies that are 14 meters in front of you, dealing 500 slash and impact damage while stunning enemies and increasing their chances of dropping both health and energy orbs if they are to die from it. Her second ability, and the second half of that diamond that was mentioned earlier, is Preserving Shell, which gives her and allies a damage reduction buff that starts at 40% and can increase up to 90% depending on kill and assist rate, as it goes up every time you get a kill or assist and will decay over time without getting kills and assists. Her third ability will drop a giant crystal or gem that will spawn a rainbow aura around it. All enemies taking gun damage, weapon damage, or ability damage from Citrine within this area will be taking 1000 damage per second of all 4 base elements, that being heat, cold, toxic, and electric. And the prismatic gem has a maximum range of about 15 meters, well at max level, and unaffected by mods. This can be increased, of course. We'll be going over that in my build and your personal builds if you want. Now, as for her fourth and final ability, and probably just the icing on the cake, I think she would be a functioning Warframe with or without this ability, but it will spawn random gem growths all over enemies within a range of, I think it was 15 meters again, which then these growths will stun the enemies on first effect and give you a 300% crit chance when you shoot the gems that are on the enemies. Now, before I forget, before we get into the meat of the video and the thing that I'm guessing most of you have come to see, which is the build and what I currently use, so you compare it to other streamers and possibly implement certain parts into your own builds, I would like to remind you I'm live on Twitch every week, either Saturday or Sunday nights, depending on my work schedule in the real world and that. But if you ever want to come out, check me out, ask some questions, I will be streaming there over on Twitch under the same name as Sith. But now for the build. The first thing that I would always like to cover when I'm talking about my Citrine build is due to her prismatic gem ability, she can have access to a proc of cold, heat, optic and electric damage, which means she can benefit from all of the Archon mods being on instead of the standard mods, with an exception of Intensify, as Intensify will not be able to proc its secondary effect because it needs to be an active ability for it to proc and not a passive ability like where Citrine heals constantly. That won't just constantly proc Archon Intensify, unfortunately, as much as that would be broken and probably make her the most picked character in the game. Trigger Crystallize every time you kill an enemy with one of the gem growths without it costing you any energy, and will proc within a 14-meter range, thus making it so that you can constantly and consistently have those high crit numbers and damage, helping back up the team and continuing to use that third ability as a fourth ability as a supportive ability. Next key part of the build is Intensify. I personally run Umbral Intensify because she is one of my main and favorite warframes to use currently, and why not? It's kind of funny to get that bit of extra kick and tower resistance for when you want to go do missions on Lua or for certain quest lines. As for the last two mod spots, and honestly the Arcane or Auxiliaries and Aura, these are all down to your personal playstyle and preference. I try not to make them mandatory in builds for when I'm releasing them like this, just because not everyone has every Aura, not everyone has every Arcane. You find something that you like and that works well with your personal playstyle, and this makes the builds a little more adaptable, that way that you're not just doing the exact same thing as every other person, and they become a bit more personalized and easier for you to use other than someone else. Now, this rule that I've just used goes also for arcane shards, of course, because not everyone even has access to arcane shards, being some of those baby Tenno out there, you gotta go a bit before you can get to them. But also, in this build, for example, I'm using 5 Tower Forged. If you don't have Tower Forged, you can easily just use the lower form for now. If you don't want to put that much materials in, you don't even need to use them. They are definitely a personal preference, but for this build, I do run 4 crimson and 1 yellow, with those 4 crimson being split between 2 for strength and 2 for duration, and the yellow for casting speed, just to speed up those casts just a little bit. Now, before getting into the summary, just a couple little fun facts for you. The placeholder name for Citrine was actually stalactite, like the things you find in caves and rock formations. The word citrine's real variation is a form of quartz that has a yellowish to goldish tinge. And finally, that Citrine was the second warframe to ever be released in February, with the first being Zephyr. In summary, Citrine is one of my all-time favorite supportive warframes. She's also one of my favorite frames in general, set probably in third behind Varuna and Protea, which obviously you have seen me playing a lot of them too as well. She has a lot of survivability and help and perks like that to help a newer player get along while still having that high-end damage dealing if you have the weapons and kit to go with her. As for weapons, as you can see in the video, I personally like to run her with a Cedo and a Nucor, just because that allows you to get large amounts of enemies getting damage dealt to increase the amount of enemies taking damage from the prismatic gem, while also just keeping that damage reduction number a bit higher by getting faster and quicker kills. Benefit from any heavy crit damage based weapon, as she is already getting triple crits on almost every hit once you start dropping that recrystallize and crystallize abilities, so that they just keep spawning those gems that will give you the 300% crit chance. Then if you get, like, that's why I run the Nucor, it has one of the highest crit damages in the game. So whether you're getting someone into the game, starting the game, or just trying to have some fun and lock down an entire room, Citrine will always be one of my favorite supports to go through, and whenever I'm just looking to chill out and just slowly kill, that is my go-to frame. I'd like to thank you all for joining and clicking on the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next ones.